Good morning, good afternoon, whatever, good evening, whatever it is for you. Let me know who's here. We'll just wait for another minute and see if anyone else is on. So I can see there's people watching, but I can't see who. So write a comment, tell me hi, who you are. Don't be shy. So I don't know if you noticed, but I've got my warm shirt on. It's crazy weather here in Sacramento. We've got a lovely cool spell, which is always really nice in the summer because it's so hot here usually. But when I got up this morning to make coffee and feed my dog, it was only 57 degrees outside. And it was about 60, 61, 62 maybe when we got out for a walk with our dog about 9:30, quarter to 10. So I think it's only supposed to get into the low 70s today, so really nice. But then the crazy thing is next week it's supposed to be up to 100 for a couple of days, so or over 100. So it's just crazy. Like I say, I live just outside Sacramento, and so it's pretty warm throughout the summer. So anyway, so yes, I've got my warm, cozy shirt back on, and I've got my jeans on. I'll probably change later, but hi Vicky, how are you? Good to see you. So yeah, I'll probably have to, going out this afternoon, so I'll probably put some cooler clothes on. But yeah, it's a little chilly first thing. Had to get my blankie out while I was drinking my coffee. So, but anyway, hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me today. So let me tell you about the project. Let's get straight on with it, shall we? So let me point you down to my desk, and without further ado, we'll get going, and then we'll take a little break to do the prize drawing a little bit later. So let me go down to my desk here. So today, oh, let me turn this other light on here, see if that makes any difference. Oh, a little bit better. You can see I've got my grid paper out today, which I don't normally have, and the reason for that is I'm going to be doing some sponging and wanted to have my desk covered. So the bundle I'm going to work with today is called the Quiet Meadow. Let's see if I can turn that light so I don't get that reflection. The Quiet Meadow bundle, which has this lovely stamp set. And I like these, they have kind of a couple of textural stamps to use. And then look at all these lovely dies. That's what I was excited about when I saw this. I thought, right away, I thought, gosh, all the things that we could do with all these lovely flower dies, and there's butterflies and a couple of tags too. So I was excited when I was more excited about the dies than the stamps, but I do love the stamps too. So this is in the new annual catalogue, Quiet Meadow bundle, and of course don't forget that if you can buy them separately, but if you do purchase them together, you save 10%. So on a bundle, so that's a good deal. Vicky, that's a beautiful. I know, I really love it. I haven't used it very much, just been playing with it this week. So we are going to do some. I'm going to kind of start out with a simple card and then step it up a little bit. And show you some different techniques that we can use with this bundle. So the first one I'm going to do, we're going to do some sponging first of all and masking, and then we'll do some stamping. So let me start out. And what I did here is I wrote down so that you can take a screenshot. I can zoom in a little bit later, but I wrote down the dimensions of the matte layers that I'm using so you can see those. So first of all, I'm going to sponge, I want to sponge a rectangle of color in the middle. And there's a couple of ways that we can do this. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. Hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. So there's a couple of ways we could do it. If you have a rectangle die cut, you can just die cut the rectangle out of a piece of paper and lay it over here. And I do have rectangles, but I wanted to show you another way. If you didn't have rectangle dies just by using some masking tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of, this is just removable tape. I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of that on the back to kind of hold it in place. And then I'm going to line it up even with my grid paper here. And then I'm going to take some, I think I was using this a couple of weeks ago. Was it a couple of weeks ago when I was it last week? I don't remember. But anyway, it's Post-it tape. So it's like a sheet, or like a Post-it note, but it's in a roll form. So I really like it because it's low tack. You don't have to worry about it tearing your paper, and I like how it's nice and wide and it's sticky all over. So I'm going to use this to mask off a rectangle in the middle of the card. So I'm going to use my grid line to help. So I'm going to do the sides first. So I'm going to do a piece that's kind of long enough, and you can use this piece several times too. So I think I'm going to go in 3 squares, so it should be 3/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to line up my Post-it note here with the third. Oops, and I've only just got enough. Hold on, let me start over. Let me do this side first so you can see what I'm talking about a little bit better. So I'm going to count in 3 squares, and then I'm going to line my tape up right on the 3 squares. And I'll make a bit more border when I do the top and bottom one. You'll see what I mean. So then I'll do the other side. So if you don't have any dies, then you can use tape. You could make a square or a triangle or kind of whatever shape you like, really. So I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3 squares and just mask off like that. And then I just need to go across the top and the bottom. And you can buy this tape on Amazon. It's pretty inexpensive and it lasts for ages. This roll I've had for ages. So now I want to count in 1, 2, 3. What I might do is make a little mark with a pencil right here. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And then I can do the same at the bottom. I want 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. That way I kind of know where to put my tape. So this one is going like this. And then this last piece. Hi, Carol. Nice to see you, Carol, from Connecticut. How's things in Connecticut? Good, I hope. And then this way, you know, if you're using the grid paper, you know you're going to get a nice straight rectangle on your card. All right, so now we're ready to sponge. So I'm going to use pumpkin pie. I'm going to have orange today. And I've got my blending brush, and you've seen this before, but I have these little clips that I got from, I think, Etsy. And I have them on my blending brushes. Let me show you my, here's all my blending brushes. So I have one for each color family. And I've got an extra one. That's for my, I forget what that one is. I have a couple extra ones in here, or a few extra ones actually. A couple of take those out. But you can see I have one for each color family, purples and pinks and greens. So I don't wash them in between. I just rub them off on the grid paper, which is why I have a big piece of grid paper. And that way I can just grab the color that I need. So I've got the orange one. And I'm going to do like a circular motion on the ink pad and then tap off just a little bit. And then I'm going to start off the edge so I don't get any harsh lines and just work my way over. And what I want to do is I want to get kind of a graduating blend, and I'm going to leave this top corner kind of light. So I'm just going to work my way over. And I'm going to just do much paler up the top. I want to get a nice deep color in that bottom right corner, but then the rest is going to I'm just going to do a really light up the top there. So you can do this until you get the level of color that you want. I'm just going to do a little bit more up into this corner and in the middle here. I think that's good. You can do as much or as little as you like. Then let's take this off, and like I say, you can use this paper, this tape. See if I can get it off, that is. You can use it again. This is always the fun part, the big reveal, right? So then we have this perfect rectangle. All you needed was some tape. So you could use masking tape, washi tape, painter's tape. Just be really careful that you, when you pull it off gently. The name of the tape, oh, very hot in Connecticut. Yeah, we're having some nice cool weather here at the moment, but then it's going to heat up, Carol. But the name of the tape, it's Post-it tape, and you can get it on Amazon. It comes in a nice, in a roll, and it lasts for ages. So this is 700 inches. So yeah, a lot by 1 inch. I think you might be able to get different widths, but I like the 1 inch. So that's our rectangle there of sponging. And now I'm going to do some stamping. So I'm going to stamp that lovely big flower image. And I've got my stamper artist because I want a nice big bold, well, it's not really a bold stamp, but I want to make sure that I get good coverage. So I'm going to put this right into the corner, and then I've got my flower stamp here. And I'm just going to see why I needed my grid paper, because I've made a big mess. And then I'm going to sit this kind of where I think I'd like it. Get that here. I think I'm just going to hang off the bottom just a little bit. And then I've got my Memento ink. So this is a really simple card. We'll class this as like simple stamping. Just a simple 1-layer card, basically. So let's go ahead and stamp that. And the nice thing is that flower there is a little bit paler, so I can just ink that up a little bit more. And then because I'm in the stamper artist, I can just go over it, stamp it again. That looks good. So already that's looking really pretty, isn't it? The contrast of the black and the orange. And then I'm just going to put a sentiment. So let's see, what's my stamps? So let's do Thinking of You. And I could do this in the Stamper Artist too, but I've already got it mounted on a block. So I'll just hope that I can get it straight. So I find it helps if I've got my cardstocks straight on the grid paper too. There we go, Thinking of You. And then a little trick that I like to do, you may have seen this done before, I like to do some flicks. And what I do is I'm using my one of my black blends, and I couldn't find my dark black. I don't know what I've done with it, but light black or dark black works. And then I'm just going to, using the brush tip, I'm going to use the lid to do some flicking. Now, be really gentle when you do this, because this brush tip is kind of fragile and you don't want to ruin it. So, but you're just going to go like this, really gently against the edge of the, can you see the flicks that I'm getting? I don't know if you can see those, but if I hold it up, hardly see them. Just adds a little bit of texture. And that is basically it. Let me show you the finished card that I did earlier. Here's the finished one. So I've got my little flicks, and I just mounted it on a piece of paper pumpkin card base. And I added some of these little, they're called the genial gems. Here they are. So these, I'm not sure what color these are. These might be pale papaya, and I think this is mint macaron, but I thought they looked really pretty on here. So that's the first card. So again, super simple, and you don't need any, just your stamps really, and then you can make your own rectangle. So that's that one. So let's step things up just a little bit. First of all, I'm going to clean off my stamp because I'm going to use it again, but we'll do some embossing on the next card. So this time, we're going to do a circle. Now, this is a circle would be a bit harder to tape off, so you really do need a die for the circle. I'm just going to dry that stamp off. Let's put that to one side. Connection problems. All right, so what I've done this time is I've just taken a piece of copy paper or printer paper. This was just some scrap printer paper that I had, and I've just die cut a circle out the middle, and I've made my piece of paper about the same size as my card base. That way I can know that I've got it, you know, centered in the right place. And what I'm going to do, and I use just the circle layering dies that we have, these ones. So anyway, what I'm using on this card is I used this die, I believe it's this one. So the second largest, yeah, the second largest die in the layering circles is what I used. And I'm going to do the same kind of thing, but this time I'm going to just attach this. So what I'm going to do so that it doesn't move on me, I could just hold it, but just to be on the safe side, I'm just going to put a little bit of the removable tape kind of around the edge of the circle like that. And then I'm just going to layer it over the top. And the good thing about having this piece the same size as the cardstock too, is I don't have to worry about getting my sponging kind of, you know, going off the edge of the template and getting my sponging on the rest of the cardstock. So this time I'm going to use some soft succulent, and let me grab my green sponge here. So here's my green. So what I do between colors is I just kind of rub it off on the grid paper to make sure that, and you can see a little bit came off, to make sure that most of that colors come off, and then I can start over in my new. Now for blues, I have a dark blue and a light blue, which is nice, so that I don't have to worry too much. Okay, so the same thing, just did a circular motion, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of do part of the circle again. And these blending brushes I checked before going live, and unfortunately they're back ordered again, but you can order them. It's just they're back ordered. They're supposed to come in towards the end of June, I think. So that's a bit of a bummer, but at least you can order them, and then you'll get a surprise in your mailbox one day when they show up out of the blue, right? So I love this color, soft succulent. This is one of the new in colors. Now you could do the whole circle, but I kind of like the effect of just a partial circle. I think it looks kind of more dramatic or something. So again, you can go to kind of what level of intensity that you like. Just do a little bit more, kind of on the very bottom. There you go, I think that's good. Looks kind of messy, doesn't it, before you take the before you take the template off. Okay, so now the big reveal. Ooh, how pretty. Kind of looks like a big moon, doesn't it? Now this time we're going to do a little bit of heat embossing. Now, first of all though, I'm going to do that. Do you remember there was that stamp? This kind of background stamp that had the kind of the words. So I'm actually going to stamp that a couple of times. Bring back my ink and I get that stamp. And I'm going to stamp it off because I don't want it too dark. And I don't think I want, actually let me clean it off because I just remembered I don't want the whole stamp, I just want part of it. So let's come over here a little bit. So I'm just kind of ink up kind of one half of it. And I'm going to stamp it off and I'm going to stamp over here like that. And I'm going to do the same. And stamp it kind of like here maybe. Yeah, there we go. That's good. It's a little bit dark, but that's okay. All right. So now I'm going to bring back in my Stamparatus. Now you have a couple options here, and the first time round I used black embossing powder. But black embossing powder is a little bit tricky because it shows. If you get it somewhere where you don't want it, it really shows up. And what you have to be careful with when you do blending like this is when the paper gets kind of saturated with ink, it takes a few minutes to dry really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a different technique. If you have a Stamparatus, now this doesn't work if you don't have a stamp positioning tool, then you can just use Versamark and black embossing powder. But if you have a Stamparatus, what I prefer to do, and I'm going to use my little embossing buddy, which unfortunately we don't. I keep hoping that it'll come back. Maybe it'll come back in the new catalog that's coming up. What do you think? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So I'm going to use my embossing buddy just to kind of help with the drying process and make sure there's no stuff, nothing that the embossing powder can stick to. When I use black embossing powder to do this, the best thing to do is to test before you stamp. Pour some black embossing powder over here and then tap it off and see if any sticks. And that way, if some does, you need to wipe it a bit more, you need to dry it a bit more, or you need to wipe it a bit more with your embossing buddy. But I'm going to stamp it black in the Stamparatus first. And why I wanted to clean it off was because I want to be able to position it again. I don't want to get black on my card. So I'm going to position this like this. So I'm going to stamp it once with black, and then I can clean it off and re-stamp it with Versamark and emboss with clear. So I'll show you what I mean. And if we do get some stray clear embossing powder, it doesn't show. So let's ink this up again. Really well. And stamp. And then I will clean off my stamp because I don't want to get my Versamark ink pad all messed up. And I'll grab my Versamark. Let's just make sure that's dry. I have a little lint-free cloth that I like to keep handy so that I can just dry it off if it's not quite dry. And then I'll use my emboss my Versamark pad, and because my cardstock is in the same place, I can just stamp over the top with my Versamark ink and emboss with clear. So that way I don't have to worry about those stray flecks of black embossing powder getting everywhere. Stampin' Up! Stopped selling black embossing powder, and then they just brought it back. You can buy it in a combination pack with, I think, clear and white. But in general, I like to do this if I can, because I find it's just a cleaner look. I don't have to worry about the black getting everywhere. So I've got my clear embossing powder. And you see here, if I've got some, what that is, if I've got some that's, oh shoot, did you see that? Yeah, that was a little trick that I didn't mean to do. So if I can tip that back into my, hold on just a moment. There we go. It's a little trick with my embossing powder that I didn't mean to do. Right, now I've got my heat gun, so I didn't remember to warm it up ahead of time, so I'm just going to run it for a few seconds. So this just gives a little bit of extra kind of shine and dimension over the last one that we did. Okay, it's starting to go. If you can see it turning. Just going to see if I can turn it around so I don't burn my fingers. There we go. And by the magic of Facebook Live, thanks Jeannie, here's my finished card. So I've just stepped it up a little bit. So I added it to a black matte layer, and I put this little tag on that's also in the die set and some embellishments. And so that was just, let me show you the first one. It's just stepped up a little bit. And this, the embossed image stands out a little bit more. Thank you, Carol. All right, so the last one I want to show you, and we'll kind of make it maybe from start to finish if we have time. I was looking through my dies trying to find another die shape that would work well for the sponging. And I came across these and I thought, oh, now this might be interesting. So this is called Picture That. This set of dies is called Picture This, and they're kind of designed for making like shaker cards. You know, you can use these as a cutout, and you can have little images poking from underneath, or use it for shakers. But I thought I'm going to make a little template with that and see what happens. So let's give that a try. So now for this, what I did, I used some masking paper. Now the brand that I used, let's see, did I bring it over? Yes. Is called Masking Magic, and it's by Gina K. And I bought this on Amazon, and you get 12 sheets that are 5 by 7, and it's pretty inexpensive. I don't remember how much now, but it was only maybe like $6 or $7 or something. But there are different brands out there. If you just go to Amazon and search for masking paper crafting masking paper, you'll see some different brands, and it's always nice and thin, and it has a sticky backing that you just peel off. So let me grab a piece of cardstock, and it's got a line going through the middle so that you can tear off half at a time. So what I like to do is just take half off. And if you're careful with this, you can use it. In fact, I meant to use the one that I used on my first card, but I I threw it in the trash by mistake and then it was all crumpled up. So what I like to do is just put the bottom half on first. And this is a little bit smaller than my card base, but that's okay. And it's very low tack, so if you get it on not quite straight, you can, like I did, you can just pull it off and put it on again. It won't tear your paper. It's very thin. Let's just try again. My dog is snoring. Can you hear her? She's really loud. You probably can't because I've got my noise cancelling on my headphones, but you might be able to. Okay, so then once I've got half on, I can pull off the other half. I thought this might be fun, and it turned out I was really happy with how it turned out. So let's see if I can. Go. And just press that down firmly. All right, so now the colors I'm going to use for this are, I'm going to bring back my pumpkin pie and Daffodil Delight and Pear Pizzazz and Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to zoom out here a little bit. So I've got a few different ones. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring some of this post-it tape that I used earlier, and I'm just going to tape off that bottom bit of cardstock that is showing because I don't want to get any ink. I can do this on these side pieces too. I don't want to get any ink on my card base where it shouldn't be. Okay, I'll worry about the top in a little bit. All right, so I need my 4 different brushes. I need orange, I need green, I need yellow, and I need light blue. Let's see, light blue. So I'm going to open up all my ink pads. And what I like to do is just kind of rest the brush on the right one. And that way, hopefully I don't get confused and use the wrong brush with the wrong ink pad. It happens, you know, and you can wash these brushes out really easily, but I like to have one for each color family. So I'm going to start out with my pumpkin pie on the bottom. Can you hear my dog now? She's snoring again. And we'll do some Daffodil Delight. Oops. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining me. How are you? Where are you from? Good to see you. So I'm doing, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do yellow at the top, Daffodil Delight at the top here, and then I'm going to do Daffodil Delight also at the bottom of the next one. And we're going to have kind of a interesting, gradually, it's like a little bit of the rainbow, right? Orange, yellow, green, blue. And I've got a little bit of a harsh line there, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. Kim says she's from Southeast Connecticut, but my family's from the UK. Mine too. Well, I'm from the UK. Well, it's good to see you. And then I'm going to have some green here on the top of this one. And I'm also going to have green on the bottom of this one. So it looks a bit of a mess at the moment, but we'll see. And I'm going to have some blue at the very top. Oh, and I have to mask off. Let's just do a little bit more orange and yellow at the bottom. Oops, I've got another kind of a harsh line there, but that's okay. This is going to be, some of this is going to be covered up. Yellow. Let's work on the bottom just a little bit more, then I can take the tape off and move it up to the top. A bit more yellow there. Right, then, so I do have one more piece of tape. Yeah, Carol's from Connecticut too, so you guys might be neighbors. I'm just going to move this up a little bit to cover that little piece right there. Because yeah, you want to be careful. You don't want to get sponging where you don't want it. It would be bad after all this hard work. All right, so I need some blue. I'm going with the blue. Oops, sorry, make sure I stay on camera here. And this is Coastal Cabana. Waterford. So do you guys live near each other then? Or are you a long way? I don't know how big a state Connecticut is. I don't think it's huge. And then Jeannie's from out east too. All right, so do I want to do any more? I'm going to do just a little bit of green, a bit more. So you can kind of go as dark or light, but you just want to make sure that you really blend where the two colors meet, just really blend them well. All right, I think that will do. So let's put all my brushes away, close up all my inks. And we'll do the big reveal. Now, when you do your masking, when you do your die cutting, don't throw away the pieces that you've cut. Those, you'll have 3 rectangles, because you can save those to do masking the other way. You can, ink around the outside of them. And again, you can use these pieces of Post-it tape quite a few times before you have to throw them away. All right, so let's see if I can, and make sure you don't have, I can wipe my fingers on my jeans. Make sure you don't have inky fingers when you pull this off. Which you can usually cover up if you, gosh, I can't get this off. Use my scissors here. Just use the tip of my scissors. There we go. Just needed something to get it started. Ooh, how pretty, look. Isn't that pretty? So I'm going to put this to one side to see if I can put the backing back on again later. So then, to finish this one off, I'm going to put it on a matte layer. And so I die cut a bunch of the dies. Don't forget that you can die cut them from your matte layer, and no one will see when you put your card over the top. So it's a great way to save on your cardstock. So let's put this on here. Oops. Let's get this started. There we go. Now the die has stitching around the edge, and I don't know if you can see here, but the color actually did bleed through the little stitching holes, but it's a tiny little area, and I don't think anyone would even really notice it by the time you get all the other components on the card. So I'll just put this in there. And let's see, what did I do with my card base? Here it is. Put this onto here. This is a Pear Pizzazz card base. And here's the dimensions of my matte layers. So my card base, my basic black, and then my basic white. If you want to do a screenshot or write them down, you can do that. All right, and now I've got all these black pieces that I die cut. So now what we can do is just arrange them on here. So I'm just going to pick some. This one and this one. Got some little pieces. Zoom in a bit more so you can see. And then I think I'm going to use this one. So I'll grab my glue. So I'm just going to put, I want them to be level with the bottom. I want them different lengths, but I want them to be level with the bottom of here. So that last sponge. So I'm just going to put some little dobs of glue. Now, if I thought about it ahead, I could have used the adhesive sheets. Come on, glue. Don't fail me now. Could have used the adhesive sheets, but that's okay. So I'm going to put one piece like this. And then I want the next one to just be a bit, I'm going to do them kind of like this. So kind of staggered. So I love, so when I saw these dies, I thought, oh, they would make great, just kind of silhouetted, you know, images. So I love to do this kind of style. And sponging, you all know I love sponging. So do this one a little bit shorter. Could set something heavy on there. And then I'm going to do this one kind of like this. Oh, and I was going to do some more flicking. And I forgot, I could do some after this. A little bit of flicking. Oops, that's a big blob. Let's see, I'll just do that like that. Your cards are beautiful. Thank you, Carol. Right, so now I'm going to trim off, I'm going to trim this piece quickly before it dries because I kind of have too much glue down there. Oops. There you go. Got a little extra glue there, but that's all right. And then let's trim these two off also. Just a tiny, tiny bit more. Oops. There we go. All right, let's do a little bit of flicking. Here's my pen. I don't really want to get the flicking on the green card base, so I'll see if I can manage without doing that. So again, be really gentle with your there we go. Don't think I got any on the card base, so you can see. A little bit of flickage. It's a new word, flickage. Now I still have all these dies left to use, look. And I've got this, come here, I've got this tag to use on here, this label, and I'm going to stamp. Let's see, what did I do on the last one? Thinking of you, so let's do, there's another one that says, you're too kind. Let's do that. Oops. Haven't done the giveaway, have I? Oh, just not forget to do that. See if I can do this straight. Ooh, that's a little bit crooked. I have another one here. I did an extra just in case. Let me see if I can do it better. Okay, beautiful cards. Giving you some ideas. Good. Love the black die cuts against the ink colours. I do too. Very sophisticated. Oh gosh, thank you. No one's told me I'm sophisticated before. My cards, anyway. Oh, well, I don't know if that's much better, but it's a little bit. And then what I thought I would do is just to make this a little different. I'm going to cut these little pieces off the end, just for a change. Because on the other card I used, actually I haven't shown you, I have one more card to show you. I grab my dimensionals. Oh my gosh, it's 10 to 1. I always think I'm not going to go too long today, but I don't know, somehow I always do. And let's stick this on here. Right, I love it. I love how that turned out. And then I've got these little embellishments. Oh, and I forgot I was going to put a butterfly on too. So I've got these embellishments. These are called artistry balloons, sequins, but I think they go quite well. There's blues and oranges. So let's stick a couple of these on. Let's see, let's put this one here. So go through your dies, see what interesting shapes you have, and then you can just use copy paper like I did with the circle. And what I would do is if I was using copy paper, I'd just put a little bit of temporary adhesive between the areas. Let's see, I'm going to put this one right here. And then we could put a little butterfly on. What do you think? Let's grab this little one. Maybe right there. I don't know if I like him there or not, because I kind of liked that white space there. But anyway, so here's the one that I did earlier that's the same. So yeah, I kind of like it without the butterfly, I think, because I like this white space here. Here it's a bit too filled in. So I did a little bit darker with the sponging here on this one too. But yeah, I love how those came out. So look through your dies and see what interesting shapes you have that you could use. Let me pull back in the other ones, and let me do the, before I show you them all again, let's do the prize. Let me show you the prize drawing quickly. So today the winner's going to get some of these cards, 3 cards. But last week we had, oh my gosh, where is it? Here it is. We had this lovely paper. Remember, I had all this lovely pack of paper to give away. Really pretty different papers, lily pads in there, from the lily pads, and this beautiful tropical paper. And the winner from last week was Diane Godoris. So Diane, if you're watching, or if you watch this later, be sure to send me your address so that I can drop these in the mail to you, and congratulations. So thank you for watching last week. And so let me bring back these in to show you. So here's these ones. I'll zoom out a little bit, clear the decks a little bit. Congratulations. All right, so here's the one with the embossing, and here's the first one I did, and then I did one more with the circle. So this is Fresh Freesia, and so here I use the tag as it's designed to be, and then I just changed it up a little bit to give a different look for that one. So yeah, and the butterfly, and there's plenty of dies to make 2 cards. So what do you think? I hope you like those and it inspired you hopefully to see what dies you have in different, you know, shapes that you could do. So if you make some cards then like this, then post them on my page so I can see. Anyway, thank you, Carol. Anyway, I will post all the products. Hey, Kristen, thank you. So yeah, so I'll post all the products that I've used after this in the comments section of this. And yeah, be sure to like and comment and share so that your name can go into the prize drawing for next week. I'm going to pick 3 cards and send them to next week, to this week's winner. So my cards are piling up here, so I need to give some more of them away. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you again next week, and I'll probably be reporting that it's 100 degrees instead of 70 degrees next week, but hopefully not, but probably so. Anyway, have a great rest of the day, everyone. Thanks for watching, and see you all soon. Bye-bye.